Hello, government seekers. What's up? I'm back. I'm back to a nice tacked background. It's a little, I couldn't get some of these wrinkles out, but I don't know. It gives it that sort of theater vibe, man. I don't know. That's what I tell myself. Um, but isn't it nice, huh? Got a nice haircut, tight, crisp, a little too corny. Corey. It's pretty Marine corny. I'm a Marine corn. Different than Marine Corps. It's just a bunch of farmers, angry farmers. Oh, hey, I got another text from somebody at the DNC and wanting me to, oh my God, what's going on? This is Eric L from, DNC. All right. Hello, everybody. Blaze Saver Wolf is our moderator today. Let's do it. Let's buckle up and do it. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Government Secrets with the two most censored comedians in America, Lee Camp and Graham Elwood.
Welcome back to Los Angeles, the land of dogs having better haircuts than I have.
Yes, where rich white ladies have dogs and $800 baby scooters.
Yeah. The baby scooter could easily fund housing for the 12 people that live at the bottom of her driveway in a tent.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. But Mr. Rumples, it gets too tired to walk. So we've got to take care of that.
How was your trip? You excited to be back?
It is nice to be back. El Salvador was awesome. I had a great time. It was awesome hosting Orange Pill podcast. Did the last one Monday with Max and Stacy. It was really, really cool and met a lot of great people and hope to be back. It was so nice and warm. The people are really cool down there, but it is nice to be back in LA. It's spring here. It's sunny, starting to warm up.
Finally, you can get a good taco again, unlike Latin America.
Yes. In all seriousness, though, there's Salvadorian food is kind of different than Mexican food, but their tortilla is a lot thicker. So,
man, fucking it up with the tortilla.
Each country I've noticed in Latin America has their own tortilla. Like they have their own version of it that they're very sort of proud of. Like my neighbor was Venezuelan and he made me their one. It's like thick, almost like a pancake, and they pan fry it so the outside is crisp, and then they cut it in half and put stuff on it like a sandwich.
Interesting.
Good. Very good.
I remember my unique brand in college was made out of paper towel.
You ate paper towels in college?
Graham, you got to get by. You got to get by somehow.
Wow. So when I was eating ramen, like 10 ramen for $1, you were eating paper. Okay.
Joke's on you. Ramen's made out of paper towel. Bet you didn't even know it.
I was just eating, basically what I was eating was just spicy paper towel soup. Is that what you're telling me?
Yours was paper towel with spices. Ooh, look who's rolling in dough.
Wow. I'm sorry that your college experience was really that gnarly.
It was rough. It was rough on the old GI, but yeah.
All right. So you were just like drinking your own urine and eating paper? Is that basically what you were doing?
You added that first part in. And, I don't want to know any more about your college experience.
Look, we all flavor our ramen differently. That's all I'm saying. All right.
Originally ramen, when they first came out with those 10 for $1 ramen at the grocery store, it was called urine flavor. And, then they had a big board meeting where they were like, we're not moving a lot of units here, fellas.
There was a packet of dried powdered urine that you would put in over the hot water. It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then, the liberals started complaining about it. Now you can't have liberal, urine ramen. It's fucked up.
Now you can't have the good old urine ramen. So true. Bringing you back to the good old days. Those good old college days. Things were simpler then. Things were simpler.
Just eating urine and paper and just living the life. You know what I mean?
Now we're still eating urine, but it's because our tap water's not filtered at all.
Right, because it's the corporations have paid off the politicians, and there's no fixing for it. But we have an exciting episode 154 at our kind of new time slot of 11 a.m., 2 o'clock Pacific, 2 o'clock Eastern, 11 Pacific.
And a kind of exciting who knows when time slot. Yeah, and I decided to take a break from the Nazis for 1 week. Don't worry, we'll get back to Nazis, folks.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I just, Nazis, making fun of Nazis, it's like hot chocolate. It's like really good at first, and you get 2-3 hours in, you kind of want like a glass of water,
Yeah, it's like a hot chocolate, like once a blue moon is great. Like the one ski trip you take, you maybe get a hot chocolate. But if you're drinking hot chocolate every day, it's like, what am I, 7?
Well, it's just, it always wakes me up in the morning.
Nazi segments.
Nazi segments. Nazi segments. I always do a little Nazi segment right when I get up while I'm stretching.
I don't turn on the TV or my phone or anything. The first thing I do is I meditate, and then I have a Nazi segment. That's how I start my day. And then I do yoga.
And make fun of a couple of Nazis and then move on with my day. Yeah.
Yeah, I see them off my balcony. So I want to walk. I meditate, and then I'll just walk by, and I'll go, "Nice haircut," and then that's
LA for you. A couple of Nazis walking by your apartment. That's good. But even they are just like very well coiffed and tanner Nazi than you're used to.
Yeah, it's Gavin Newsom's security detail. Well, why don't we do yours first? I mean, you got coup leaders. I just got back from Latin America, where America's done a lot of coups. We've covered a lot of coups there. You want to talk about African coup leaders?
Yeah. Thought I'd do a little African coups, because we've on our list of coups that we've covered, which we've covered only 92 of them. I'd say 79% are not in Africa, the ones we've covered.
Right.
So it's good to just mention the fact that there's been dozens across Africa.
Yeah, it's not fair. We don't want people who've been victims of Americans staging coups to not feel represented,
on our comedy show. That's very true. Yeah. People often say that. We also have been victims of US coups. Please get us onto your comedy podcast.
We want representation under your comedy podcast, where you talk about eating paper and urine, and we really want to be discussed.
There's a disgusting joke in there somewhere.
Somewhere.
So I can't. This is actually a first for me in my entire life. I have been forced into the position of talking positively about Representative Matt Gaetz.
Oh, wow.
That lunatic Republican piece of human garbage
who hits on 16-year-olds or something like that, or whatever he does.
It was beyond hitting on. I think he sex trafficked them across state lines or something.
Jesus. Of course.
I don't think it was hitting. Hitting on would be all of Congress, but no, I don't remember the details of that story. But anyway, this actually has just come out like a week ago. The Intercept, and they're I think the only ones that really covered it, that the Pentagon is ignoring a law which was snuck into the funding bill, because that's the only way you get anything passed in Congress. It's the only thing anything that's ever passed in Congress where you're like, that might be a good idea. It's because someone jammed it into the budgetary bill at the last minute. Great. But it's a law calling for the Pentagon to report on how many coup leaders, African coup leaders, they've trained. And it's a few. So Matt Gaetz is demanding answers. And this is also, we've pointed this out before, this is how insane our government, as sane and corrupt and disgusting our government has become, that in these rare, tiny, nothing ever moments where you're like, yeah, there's a congressperson standing up against sending more missiles to Ukraine for our proxy war, it's usually a Republican. It's usually like a maniac.
It's Matt Gaetz, in addition to whatever trafficking horrific crap he's done, he's also the guy that's really trying to call out insider trading. And you're like, Matt Gaetz is the guy that's the sounding this creep, this filthy creep is the one who's like, no funding for Ukraine. Hey, we've trained a lot of coup leaders in Africa. Hey, Nancy Pelosi and other Republicans and Democrats are wealthy for corrupt reasons. And, I like taking cheerleaders on road trips or whatever. Like this is the same guy.
Same guy.
This is how sad it is. It's we've talked about this too, how now the Democratic Party is like the pro-war party. I mean, Sean Penn 20 years ago at the 2003, I think, SAG Awards was like, the thing that every actor knows, in addition, that there's no such thing as weapons of mass destruction. He's calling out the Bush administration for lying about WMDs and starting an illegal war in Iraq. That was the Sean Penn of 20 years ago. Now there's a documentary going, we got to sell all our money and send our sons and daughters to go fight with Zelensky in this and alongside Nazis in Russia because Putin bad and I'm dumb. Like it's America is such an insane clown car. It doesn't make any sense. It's so stupid.
I do like his new charity organization. I'm done. Sean Penn. It's a great organization. Yeah, no, it's how everything's been turned upside down, and they're both sides, because it's not really sides. It's the two cheeks of the same backside, as Galloway says, and they all agree on
two cheeks of the same backside.
Two cheeks of the same backside. And they all agree on everything, except occasionally you'll have two guys be like, we don't want to send any more missiles. And it's Republicans. Or when Rand Paul held up the funding for more missiles to Ukraine just because he wanted them to account for where the money and the missiles were going to. And just that was like sacrilege. Like Congress was like, what are you doing? Demanding that we tell you where the missiles actually go.
Yeah. And he's viewed as some sort of rabble-rousing hero. Like the one cop who says, you should say, I'm going to shoot you for no reason before we shoot guys. That's the big hero. That's the just.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, when his neighbor beat him up, I cheered. Rand Paul's neighbor beat the living crap out of him for some unknown reason, but
unknown.
I think literally, I think it was like a dispute over like your tree is over my line or something like that. But
yeah, anyway. Rand Paul probably disrespect Brad, but I doubt that he just was like, "Hey neighbor, can we resolve this?" And the guy just went nuts. I find it hard to believe.
I didn't say for no reason. I said for some unknown reason.
Okay.
There's a difference.
All right, that's true.
I absolutely think Rand Paul probably treated him like garbage.
And the guy just was like, you know what, Buttercup, we're done. And went boom.
I have no doubt that Rand Paul walked by every day and was like, sorry, what district in Congress do you represent? Oh, that's right. You're nobody. And like kept walking. I have no doubt.
Just had his staff member go, you know what? Keep throwing your branches in his yard as we pass by in my motorcade.
Yeah. So, Matt Gaetz is demanding answers from the Pentagon after coups by U.S. trained African military officers, according to a letter to Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, shared exclusively with the Intercept. He's demanding answers about U.S. trained African military officers. Under the bill that authorizes the 2024 defense budget, the Pentagon, he like slipped. This was like a Post-it note that he like folded into the bill as they like passed it. The Pentagon is mandated to provide a briefing on coups carried out by U.S. trained African partners. a briefing to the Senate and House Armed Services Committee no later than 90 days after the bill's December 2023 passage. Well, guess what right now is? Over 90 days. I know this is going to come as a shock, Graham, but it turns out the Pentagon doesn't give a shit.
What? Whoa! Are you talking about our Pentagon? Or are you talking about another one?
No, the other Pentagon. It was a high school Pentagon. It was lower level. Shit, kid Pentagon.
These kids today, they have no respect for anything. These teenage Pentagons that just don't respect anything. It's really sad.
But yeah, so they had 90 days to do it, and they just ignored it because, and this also proves something else, that our Pentagon, our military industrial complex, which includes the intelligence agencies, they're not actually accountable to Congress. They don't care.
No, at all. They don't care at all. They are the most rogue branch of deviant terrorists that have ever been allowed to roam the earth.
And I'll go all the way back to the writers of that Cats movie that came out. Since then, this is the worst. That's it.
The Cats movie was really bad. I mean, you're right. I mean, throughout history, I mean, it's a fair comparison, Lee. I won't argue with you, buddy.
Thank you. And you're a movie critic. You should know.
No, you're right. I was going to write a whole thesis on how the Cats movie is worse than Pol Pot, but you basically said it to me.
I think I summed it up. Think you're good to go.
I want to go. I've never considered myself a movie critic. We just like talking about movies. But if I ever was be said like,
you have a book on movies, Graham.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm a published author on movies, but sure. Okay. If I were to ever be like a full-on movie critic, like for some mainstream thing, I would just say awful, like this is the Khmer Rouge of movies or something.
This is the Abu Ghraib of musical theater. This is...
Somebody should waterboard the writers because the dialogue was horrible. Like that was what I would just... Which, by the way,
have you ever seen the medieval torture rack? Yeah, I would rather go through that twice than yet again watch the.
Not since Idi Amin cut off the arms of an ex-wife and sewed them on backwards have I seen such a mismanagement of a plot. Like,
I think you missed your calling. I think you should get back into it. Some sort of combination of the Saw movies and movie criticism. Just like merge those two.
With always referencing like horrible dictators and empires and genocides and shit.
So the Pentagon briefing is supposed to cover the number of coups, the vetting process employed by the U.S. for partners, and steps taken to strengthen trainees' respect for civilian control of the military. Steps taken. Could you imagine the U.S. Pentagon as we're training coup leaders in other countries being like, folks, remember, respect the civilians, okay? Civilian-led military. Like, could you imagine that?
Oh,
nope. And I think what that speaks to is maybe if we're training people that have no respect for democracy or civilian-led leadership or any of that stuff in other countries, maybe it would come home to the United States and be a problem here as well. But no, that can't possibly be true, except that the Pentagon doesn't care that Congress just told them to do this and they totally didn't do it.
Yeah, and Congress and the Senate are largely run by sociopaths and scam artists.
Yeah. So given that the Department of Defense has failed to meet the congressionally mandated deadline, I am formally requesting the briefing or report on security cooperation with African military units who received DoD training and equipping and subsequently overthrew their governments within the AFRICOM region. And the I'm looking for the number, but so again, this is coming from The Intercept, but really the writer of this is Nick Turse. And Nick Turse, whether he's writing for The Intercept or other publications, is like the only one to cover AFRICOM over the past several years. I mean, honestly, if you Google anything about AFRICOM, anything about the fact that the U.S. is actually lying about how many bases we have in Africa, anything about U.S. Trained militants creating coups in Africa over the past 10, 15 years, any of it, I guarantee you, like the first page of Google results is Nick Turse. It's just this one guy who's doing it, which is like just speaks to how terrible our media is. Like no one's covering this except this one guy.
And it's like on The Intercept, which is like, I used to really love The Intercept. They went a little neoliberal there, and I guess every once in a while they produce an article or two that's decent, but even like at their peak, they still had very little sway or, and it's,
well, they basically were slowly captured. I mean, there's always been question marks around The Intercept, various things such as the fact that like 97% of everything Snowden stole was never revealed. Right. Stole isn't the right word, revealed to what tried to reveal to the American public. Something like 97% was never shown to us. Also, the fact that they would kept outing whistleblowers, like every whistleblower that would reveal something to them, they would ultimately get that person arrested, whether by accident or not. It just seemed to happen again and again and again. Daniel Hale, Reality Winner. I think there's at least one more, maybe two more. John Kiriakou, who was a whistleblower and served time for revealing our torture program. You will get him frothing at the mouth about The Intercept if you ask him about it, because he is so furious at how many whistleblowers they've outed. And then, of course, there was the grand moment where Glenn Greenwald left because they wouldn't let him print articles about Joe Biden or Hunter Biden or something. So, yeah, that shows what they are.
Yeah. Glenn Greenwald, who helped create The Intercept, I believe.
They did. Yep. But anyway, so, but Nick Turse always does great work. And, that's like what you're saying. The Intercept does do some good stuff here and there. So at least 15 officers who benefited from U.S. security assistance have been involved in 12 coups in West Africa and the Greater Sahel during the war on terror. So that's just the past 22 years or something, like 23 years, like 12 coups in 23 years.
That's like a coup every 9 months or so, 10 months.
Yeah, we're averaging a coup every 9 months.
14 months,
because it is kind of like pregnancy. There's a bit you got to build up the coup, get bigger and bigger, and then pop.
Yeah. So it's less than one coup a year. I mean, it sounds like a coup every 18 months. Really, actually, if I do the math,
that's true. It's pretty tame. It's pretty tame.
I mean, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater, Lee. You know what I mean? It's
not even a story. I don't know what I'm talking about. So here are some of the list. It includes military personnel from Burkina Faso in 2014, 2015, and twice in 2022. Oh, we've been busy there. It includes Chad 2021, Gambia 2014, Guinea 2021, Mali 2012, 2020, and 2021. If you don't first succeed, try again to coup people. Mauritania 2008 and Niger 2023. And I have, let's see, I'll show you some. I'll pull some of these up on the screen real quick. Here's just a general article about in Rolling Stone about how many more governments are American trained soldiers going to coup. Here is the Wagner Group. This one's interesting because it's the Wagner Group, which is the Russian mercenary group, disappeared and executed civilians in Mali. So that seems to be a Russian cooing of Mali. However, the Russian mercenaries worked with Mali's longtime U.S.-backed military to kill and loot with impunity, according to a new Human Rights Watch report. So there you go. U.S. and Russia working hand in hand.
Lee,
It's beautiful.
We can't get along, Lee.
It's just beautiful. And I don't know why people act like that can't happen. Here we are, bloodthirsty mercenary groups working from Russia, working with U.S. trained bloodthirsty mercenary groups.
Man, it makes you happy. It makes you there's hope after all.
You always act like this is a depressing podcast, but I bring you some positive shit right there.
No, you're right. That it's a glass half full. It's up to me to say, is this a glass half full or half empty? And I'm going to make the choice, Lee. That's a glass half full. Russia and America working together to disappear and coup people. I mean, whatever,
It's a glass half full of human blood, but still, it's half full.
of tortured human blood. I mean, that's what makes it great. Yeah, it's amazing.
Here's another U.S. trained soldier staging a coup in West Africa. It's in Burkina Faso. Maybe it's just that the U.S. is really good with education, so we just educated a lot of people.
We know how to educate. We're good at training.
Yeah.
So I think we have a good workforce. So we're good at just training coup people. So we just go train people. It's not our fault that they then, if we train them how to run a coup, it's not our responsibility that they actually go out then and do one. You know what I mean? Like,
and so then he talks about
Lee, coups don't kill people. People kill people.
U.S. trained mercenary units don't kill people. Wait, no, they never really do. I misspoke on that one. Sometimes you get just too excited for a slogan and you get halfway down the slogan road and
I can go down a slogan rabbit hole so fast.
So I moved to Baltimore. It's actually illegal to go down rabbit holes here. But so not all U.S. trained African coup leaders hail from Sahel. It says before General Abdel Fattah el-Sisi deposed Egypt's first democratically elected president, Mohamed Morsi, in 2013, he underwent basic training at Fort Benning. I did not know this, by the way. Now called Fort Moore in Georgia, and advanced instruction at the U.S. Army War College in Pennsylvania. That's the current president of Egypt, who has, by all reports, by many reports, roughly 60,000 political prisoners in jail there right now. Trained at Fort Benning and then U.S. Army War College in Pennsylvania.
Well, it's one of our chief exports, entertainment, and coup leaders.
Do you think he gets the alumni magazine? You think they have a plaque to him on the?
Well, I'm in the University of Arizona. I get their magazine. I remember I went to Afghanistan to tell jokes, and they did a little story on me, which was cool. So I'm sure they're doing a story. This guy's got to be on the cover, like our alumni of the month.
Egypt's el-Sisi. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, probably at the War College or whatever, there's probably like the torture training center is probably named after him now or something like that.
The el-Sisi Torture Training Center. Yeah, probably. The total number of U.S. trained mutineers across Africa since 9/11 may be far higher than is known, but the State Department, which tracks data on U.S. trainees, is either unwilling or unable to provide it. The Intercept identified more than 70 other African military personnel involved in coups since 2001 who might have received U.S. training or assistance, but when provided with the names in 2023, State Department spokespeople either failed to respond or replied, quote, "We do not have the ability to provide records for these historical cases at this time. We don't know how many coup leaders across Africa we've trained."
I mean, Lee, you can't. I mean, honestly, supposed to keep track of all the coup leaders you've trained. I mean,
It is quite an undertaking. I think they should get a couple interns to work on it, stay overtime.
I mean, I get it. Like you and I tried to keep a master list of all of the segment topics. We got through like 100 episodes, and we haven't done it in probably a year. So I get it. Like,
I put a solid half of mine in the doc. So
yeah, I put most of mine, but not all. I forget, so I could just as easily forget all of the coup leaders I've trained.
that's true. I know. If someone asked me for a list of coup leaders I've trained, I know there was Jiminy Jam. He went by. I remember him. And Lisa, and Lisa, and there was another one named Lisa. But
Lisa,
that's all. That's all I can remember.
Lisa, the coup leader. Yeah, I remember that. I always forget names. I remember faces and techniques. I'm like that guy with the short hair that really liked pouring Drano down on people's feet or whatever. Like that guy.
That guy who had a necklace of ears he wore around. I remember
him. He was hilarious.
But you know what's funny? You take him out of context. If he didn't have the ears on,
I couldn't pick him out of a lineup if he didn't have the ears around his neck.
Couldn't pick him out of a lineup.
Although he was good at darts. So if I saw his dart, I go, that's the ear guy. And then, but I can't put it.
We should start keeping a master list, really. Of the coup leaders. Yeah. So last week, Langley, which is like General something Langley. And I don't know why he's named Langley, but he's probably descended from the military base. Anyway, General Langley still had no answers for Getz on the number of U.S. trained mutineers in Africa, but pushed back on any implication that U.S. support to African military personnel was linked to their rebellions. Don't you love that response? Well, sure, we trained these militants, but them creating coup is who could have known? He did nothing. There's no connection there.
I mean, this guy literally got an A in how to start a coup in your country, but I didn't expect him to take that information and then apply it.
Look, if you find a lost baby bunny rabbit and you nurse it to health and get it all ready and put it out into the backyard and then it eats a mouse, that's not on us.
Even if you trained it to eat mice and showed it how to attack and kill mice.
Even if you gave it a bunch of small arms to shoot the mice with, that's not your fault.
Oh, God.
So he says, and then he says, this is a quote from General Langley. There is no syllabus for overthrowing a government, not in our institutions. It's safe to say there's no correlation or causation of U.S. training to a coup happening. There's no connection, Graham. Why are you acting like there's a connection?
I know. It's like these people like, okay, so these companies like Raytheon and Boeing, they make bombs and laser guided missiles. The whole purpose of them is to blow people up. And then those bombs are used to blow people up. And everyone's like drawing like, how could you, what a crazy connection that a bomb that has one purpose is then used for that purpose.
Look, Fort Benning and the School of the Americas has also trained a lot of dental hygienists and a lot of great hairstylists out there. And the guy washing the floors was trained there. So, no one says, oh, they probably caused coups.
Even though in their haircutting class, we told them how to use their shears to cut off the leader's head and take control. But that's not the same thing.
And sure, they did. They cut off a few, I'm going to say too many leaders' heads. But still, that's a coincidence, a coinky dink.
Oh, God.
So he says there's no correlation. Africa.
Okay, cool. Good enough for me.
Close the subject.
Good. Let's move on.
AFRICOM spokesperson Kelly Callahan in 2022 said, quote, AFRICOM, which most of you know is the U.S. Africa Command Center, basically. AFRICOM does not actively track individuals who've received U.S. training after the training has been completed. unquote. We just train them to kill their leaders and then we release them out into the yonder. And we never again check to see what happens.
I don't know why. I don't know how anything could go wrong here. I don't see the connection, first of all, and I don't see how this could cause a problem. I just don't get it.
I see no connection. Look, you train someone to go out, commit coups, torture people, take over governments, kill the leaders, solidify control of said government, get rid of democracy, close out all media outlets that could tell an opposite story than yours. And you train them to do that, and then you just hope they go off and have a good career as a candy store owner or something.
I mean,
There's no connection.
I know. We train them to do this one thing, and what if one of them went to the college and then they just decided to become a realtor and they had a couple of bad real estate deals? Is that our fault?
A lot of realtors went to the School of the Americas. Absolutely. Loads of realtors.
Oh God.
So yeah, I decided to take break from the Nazis to bring you the insane number of U.S. coups that have been created across Africa over the past 24 years, and essentially no one except Nick Turse is talking about it.
This has been Government Secret segment number 1. America traced coup leaders and then had nothing to do with the coups.
We'd get every once in a while, I haven't heard from the guy in 2 years. I'll get a Hallmark card saying, how you guys at Fort Benning doing? Just to let you know, I'm now the dictator of Mali. Like, it's just...
He just sends me the postcard. He didn't tell me how he became the dictator of Mali. He just sent me a card. So I don't know. Maybe they had I don't know. Maybe he was at like one of those all-inclusive resorts and he won the like karaoke night and they made him, I don't know.
They make him dictator. That sometimes that happens. He said he had a military junta, and I thought it was a vacation spot. I didn't know it was a junta. I didn't know it was spelled that way.
I thought it was the name of some tropical beach. Like, oh, we're all going to Junta Beach
Junta, where they make those junta coladas. Oh, they're delicious. I thought it was that. Yeah. Right. So it's I don't know. I felt like we needed to take a moment to get that out there.
Good. Well, kind of similarly, I just decided to look up, the history of CIA black sites. This is segment number 2. And the thing I like about this is, of course, I'm going to read from Wikipedia. So this is what they're admitting to.
Yeah, right? This is the stuff that's been admitted. Yeah,
this is the stuff they're just putting out there, saying, "Oh yeah, we've had black sites." So this is a quote. This is from the CIA controls black sites used by U.S. government in its war on terror to detain people deemed to be enemy combatants. That's the lead line in the Wikipedia page. Okay. President George W. Bush acknowledged the existence of secret prisons operated by the CIA during a speech on September 6th, 2006, and where he said the top terror suspects are going to face tribunals. And so the claim that black sites existed was made also by the Washington Post in November of 2005. And before this by human rights organizations, right? The EU adopted, there was an EU report adopted on February 14, 2007 by a majority of European Parliament members, 382 MEPs voting in favor, 256 against, and 74 abstaining, stated the CIA operated 1,245 flights, that it was not possible to contradict evidence or suggestions that secret detention centers where prisoners have been tortured were operated in Poland and Romania. After denying the fact for years, Poland confirmed that it has hosted black sites.
There you go. So Poland, good place to visit.
There's also floating prisons. There's a lot of floating prisons, so they can go out in international waters where there's no law or whatever.
Jesus Christ.
That wouldn't be a hell on
No
earth.
laws and no reporters.
No laws, no reporters. No one can find you. No one's going to find you. Black sites operated by the U.S. government and its surrogates were first officially acknowledged, as I said. The International Committee of it was 2006 when they acknowledged it. The International Committee of the Red Cross reported details of black sites practices to the U.S. government in early 2007, and contents of the report were made public in March of 2009. In the IC, the International ICRC report, the International Committee of the Red Cross, they were based on interviews with black site detainees conducted October 6th through 11th and December 4th through 14th, 2006, at Guantanamo Bay. So the International Red Cross was allowed to speak to the prisoners, right? And
certain prisoners.
Yeah.
The ones they wanted them to speak to.
And then, I've been a Red Cross volunteer for years, and I love that organization in many ways, but this is where they might have been a little naive. They submitted the report. They submitted the report to President Bush thinking he was going to go, oh my God, what?
Yep. We've done bad? No.
I had no idea that these guys did the thing that I sanctioned them to do. So it's literally like going to the head of a drug cartel saying, did you know there's people selling illegal narcotics and it's killing kids? And they were like,
and then go,
I
never.
When we shipped that cocaine illegally, I thought it was going to a hospital. I had no idea. So in March 15th of 2009, Mark Danner provided a report to the New York Review of Books with an abridged version to the New York Times, describing and commenting on the contents of the Red Cross report. According to Danner, the report was marked confidential and was not previously made public before being made available to him. Danner provided excerpts of interviews with detainees, including Abu Zabdaya, Walid bin Atash, and Khalid Shaikh Mohammed. Danner provided excerpts of the Red Cross report characterizing procedures used at the black sites, dubbed, this is what Bush called it, an alternative set of procedures.
Yeah. Alternative to moral.
Yes.
The alternative to moral procedures. That's what we do.
It's an alternative set of procedures. So there's the one procedure where, let's say you have a bad tooth and I'm a dentist and we need to extract this tooth, right? The alternative set is I punch you in the dick 15 times and make you give me your bank account. That's the alternative, but they're just a different procedure. Right. We're not judging each procedure.
Right. Another alternative is we extract that tooth on a prisoner who's got nothing wrong with it.
Right. And just have him point at some photos and say, tell us which one is guilty.
Yep.
So, and this is according to Wikipedia. There is little or no stated legal authority for the operation of black sites by the United States or other countries believed to be involved.
Zero legality around it, like zero law, zero accountability. And you got to remember that the reason they're doing these black sites is because the tiny, almost non-existent accountability of the Pentagon and CIA normal operation was too much.
Right.
That zero accountability was still too much.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a full sentence that is in that Wikipedia wrote. There is no legal authority for the U.S. to do this. Period. Done. And then we're just going to keep letting it happen. Like, they're not even doing what they did in your last segment of saying, what? Yeah, we have. Well, yes, we have legal precedent, or we didn't do anything illegal. They're not even lying. They're saying, yeah, we have no legal precedent. So.
Well, and I think that the only person in the CIA or formerly in the CIA who has said that these black sites exist publicly is Kariakou, who's the only CIA person to have been put in prison in connection with the torture programs.
Yeah.
Because he revealed it. By the way, he was never at any of the torture. He just knew they existed.
Yeah. And he was also the guy that wrote when Gina Haspel was appointed to be the first female director of the CIA under Trump. He was the one that wrote the op-ed piece saying, look, I'm all for stopping the old boys network and letting a woman, she is awful. He was the one that said she would fly to CIA black sites and watch and got off on watching people getting tortured. She got off on it.
Nope.
Got off on watching America do a thing that they have no legal right to do and is immoral and inhumane and evil. But girl power.
It's a psychopath's playground out there, isn't it?
Well, this is the thing I love about the diversity of the modern era. So now women can go do psychopathic, abusive, insane things and get rewarded for it, just like the guys. And that's progress, Lee.
Progress.
That's the real progress.
Yep. I've seen that slogan on posters with little cats, little pictures of cats, and it says, "One day, women will be able to enjoy torture, watching people be tortured, as much as men."
That's when we know we've reached equality. When women can get away with getting promoted because they like torturing and watching people get tortured. Like that's.
Glass ceiling no more.
Yeah. And British bitch and lapdog, Prime Minister Tony Blair said that the report.
That's his vanity license plate.
America's bitch. And he drives away in a Jaguar. He said, quote, the report added absolutely nothing new whatever to the information we have.
So he didn't say it was wrong or anything. He just said, I knew this. I already knew this.
Yeah. So he's not owning, he's just saying the report, yeah, we already knew this, but it's still awful and wrong. But yeah, the report, we're not.
Yeah.
And then this is fun. This is when I know it's the good old American empire doing what what empires do. Poland and Romania received most of the direct accusations, as the report claims the evidence for these sites is strong.
I don't think it's Poland and Romania's fault.
Yeah, I feel like
it's probably our fault.
Kind of feels like when the mob, they just, some mid-level guy takes the rap and goes to prison and the head guy's fine. It kind of feels like that. Like,
yeah.
So America's global war on terror got out of line. We lost our moral capacity because of Poland and Romania.
Look, we were all against torturing or harming people at all. And then Poland and Romania were like, you got to do this shit. It's awesome. And we were like, oh, man, I guess. Okay, just for a minute, just to see how it feels. And then I was sucked in. I was trapped. It's an addiction.
Man, what was I supposed to do? All right, let's get back to this then. Okay, then in May 19, 2006, United Nations Committee Against Torture recommended that the United States cease holding detainees in secret prisons and stop the practice of rendering prisoners to countries where they are likely to be tortured. The decision was made in Geneva following 2 days of hearings, and nothing happened as a result.
I like that they're just recommending. They're like, we would recommend you stop torturing folks.
It's akin to a sternly written letter.
Yeah. That
someone's going to go crumple up and just chuck it into a garbage can. This is word for word on Wikipedia's site. The U.S. government does not provide information about the operation of black sites, and for a period of time did not provide information about the existence of black sites. Oh, okay, cool. Good for me. That's good.
All done.
Yeah. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, she was Secretary of State under Bush, stated on December 5th, 2005, that the U.S. had not violated any country's sovereignty in the rendition of suspects, and that individuals were never rendered to countries where it was believed they might be tortured.
Yeah. We did loads of that too, just shipping them somewhere where we had to deal with, they do the torturing and we can go, we didn't do it. We just sent them to Egypt and it happened.
Anomaly. This is a funny. Somebody put this in the chat. Gina Haspel is the Rita Hayworth in Shawshank Redemption for the deep state.
The poster.
Nice movie reference. The April 21st, 2006, Mary O. McCarthy, a longtime CIA analyst, was fired for allegedly leaking classified information to the Washington Post reporter Dana Priest, who was awarded the Pulitzer Prize for her revelations concerning CIA black sites. Some have speculated that the information allegedly leaked may have included information about the camps. McCarthy's lawyer, however, claimed that McCarthy did not have access to the information she is accused of leaking. Oh, look at that. The September 7th, 2007 public address on the Council of Foreign Relations in New York, rare for a sitting director of the CIA intelligence, General Michael Hayden, praised the program of detaining and interrogating prisoners and credited it with providing 70% of the national intelligence estimate on the threat to America released in July.
Great job torturing, folks. You did awesome. Yeah, yes. Great job shredding the Geneva Conventions. This is awesome. And thank you for your service.
Yeah. These are the suspected sites. It's an estimated 50 prisons have been used to hold detainees in 28 countries, in addition to at least 25 more prisons in Afghanistan and 20 in Iraq. It is estimated that the U.S. also has 17 ships as floating prisons since 2001, bringing the total estimated number of prisons operated by the U.S. and its allies to house alleged terrorist suspects since 2001 to more than 100.
You'd think over 20 years, someone would get a little drone out there to take a photo of some of these ships.
Yeah.
That's
countries that held suspects on behalf of the U.S. include Algeria, Azerbaijan, Bosnia, Djibouti, Egypt, Ethiopia, Gambia, Israel, Jordan, Kenya, Kosovo, Libya, Lithuania, Mauritania, country I've never heard of, Morocco, Pakistan, Poland, Qatar, Romania, Saudi Arabia, Syria, Somalia, South Africa, Thailand, the UK, Uzbekistan, Yemen, and Zambia.
So making friends.
Yeah. And then it just goes on to go into these specific reports, but that's America's black site. Actually, you know what? Let me bring up the map, the black site map. This is a fun thing for everybody to look at. It's exciting. You can see again, America's, and again, this is the estimated, that map right there. This is sort of what they're guessing.
So we do most of our torturing in Africa.
Yeah. So this is why, and some parts of the Middle East. This is why we don't like Russia and China. They don't let us have black sites to torture people.
Man, what a buzzkill those folks are. I mean, literally with the buzzsaw that we use on the torture, they're a buzzkill. It really just sucks. It's not fair.
I know. It's such a bummer. So that's segment number 2, CIA black sites that are completely illegal, but we don't care.
17 ships. I wonder if they have are they like cruise ships? Is there a fungineer? Do you think they have an onboard comedian entertaining the folks? Is there a bottomless buffet? Do you think? Do they have a disco night? Do you think there's a lot of random hookups? You know, what's that happens out at sea stays at sea. Is this what you're picturing? Is what I'm picturing? Is there a pool deck? Is it bathing suit optional? You think?
A fungineer on the prison ship. I mean, probably. I mean, most of the cruise ships I've ever, they always had a casino. These prison
At
boats.
least a casino. Absolutely. At least one chocolate fountain. I think one. I'm hoping two, but I'm saying at least one chocolate fountain.
A chocolate fountain, an ice swan,
Ice swan.
all you can eat buffet, wet t-shirt contest. Somebody put in the
Yeah. Beach balls. Do you think there's beach balls?
Yeah.
And then it goes over the back of the ship and they joke about who's going to go get it.
Yeah. And then probably they got to have beer pong. They got to have beer pong on a prison ship, right?
Minimum beer pong. I mean, minimum.
And karaoke, but a karaoke competition, and probably, they got, they got to have this thing. They have a belly flop competition.
belly flop and a head first down the loopy slide into the pool. Yeah. That's what I'm picturing. I mean, I think we need to wait till the photos come out, but I think we're close.
Right now, there's got to be some road comic going, can I get the Fungineer gig? If that's a real one, can I?
How much does that pay?
How much is that?
Do we at least have access to the buffet?
Do I stay in the cruise quarters, or do I get my own, my own ship? Can I get a room with a window?
Is bottomless buffet, can that be ordered to the room?
Oh, it's what we need is a Fungineer, buddy. Well,
thank you everyone for joining these two Fungineers on this show. Hope you've had a good time. We have a special segment coming up at patreon.com/government secrets, where the moment you join up over there, you will get all 55 bonus segments from the past that are timeless. You can enjoy them anytime. Long car trips, short bathroom trips, whatever you're into.
Fungineering, whatever you want. Yeah. And of course, guys, you're supporting our show. And then if you're listening to this, or wherever you're viewing this or listening to it, make sure you like it. Make sure you give positive comments, 5-star reviews. All that stuff helps. Sharing it on your social media, saying these guys are amazing and they're my favorite Fungineers about the evil American empire.
We got a super chat too.
Star Fury, welcome back, Graham. Here's something for the tax. Thank you so much that I can retack it. Infinitely better than the green screen. Just is weird. It's just weird.
And I am in fact, this will be the first announcement of this. I've just announced another live Zoom comedy hour. It'll be May 25th, and then I do another one largely for the London different time zone on Wednesday, May 29th. But anyway, May 25th and 29th. And you can grab your tickets, your $5 tickets at leecamp.simpletix.com. And it's a full hour, never before seen, live stand-up comedy while sitting down.
Boom. Folks, go to grahamelwood.com. You can subscribe to all of my social media platforms at Graham Elwood on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all of that. And yeah, support everything what I've been doing. I really sign up for my newsletter. And I don't even bug you that every month. You might get a news like every month or two. And you get a free vegan smoothie recipe when you sign up for the newsletter. So go to grahamelwood.com. And then join us right now over at patreon.com/government secrets.
Patreon. See you there in a minute.
Yes, this has been Government Secrets, episode 154. Coup College and CIA black sites.
See you in a minute.
Thanks, everybody.